It is best to stay away from that person.
At a pre-marriage meeting with both families, my grandmother suddenly spoke in a way I had never seen before. I felt the atmosphere freeze. With her mysterious ability, my grandmother pointed out to a man in front of her, and his face quickly turned pale.
This person has many dark spirits attached to him.
My grandmother certainly said that. This is a story about my grandmother and her mysterious ability. My name is Lana, and at that time, I was 33 years old and running a venture company. My family, which is my parents, younger brother, and grandmother, and our family was very close-knit. The only thing that set us apart from other families was my grandmother's mysterious ability. She could find lost items, predict sudden visitors, and even the day when relatives would pass away. The pinnacle of her ability was when my grandfather passed away. My grandmother quietly told our family, who were in tears,
"Don't cry too much. Grandpa is crying too."
She then said that Grandpa had hidden some money behind the closet and that he wanted us to use it. We were shocked when we peeked behind the closet and found an envelope, just like my grandmother had said. My grandmother hated dishonesty, was kind, and was good at cooking. Her favorite phrase was, "Don't do anything bad because God is always watching." I grew up under the care of this grandmother with a mysterious ability, and I graduated from junior college. After working at a regular company for a while, I started a small accessory company because I loved using my hands since I was young, and it eventually led to a successful online sales business. Our small, close-knit company only had a few employees, and we enjoyed working together. One day, I received a phone call.
"Hello? I am a futures trading specialist broker."
"Oh, I'm not interested in that kind of trading. Excuse me." As soon as the other person started talking, I tried to interrupt and hang up. Then the person said with a laugh,
Sorry, it's me, Lana. It's Chase, remember? We met at the reunion."
Upon hearing that, I was taken aback. Chase was a classmate from high school. He was great at sports, top of his class, and very popular with girls. After graduating from famous university, he became an elite businessman, working for a famous foreign company. At the recent reunion, we were excited about his entrepreneurship, and we exchanged contact information, hoping to have a conversation as fellow venture capitalists. I remembered that and hurriedly apologized. "Chase? Oh, I'm sorry. You sounded so fishy, so."
Come on, not cool, Lana. We exchanged contact information for a reason. Anyway, more importantly, how about having a meal together? I want to talk about business.
On that promised day, we met up at the very stylish restaurant. There were couples all around, and I was a little intimidated to talk about business in that kind of atmosphere. Chase arrived a little late, beyond the scheduled time.
"Lana, sorry for making you wait. So, how do you like this place?"
Yeah, it's really nice, but being surrounded by only couples on a date," I answered honestly.
"We should also look like a couple in love, right? And I always liked you."
I was surprised by the sudden turn of events. Really? I had no idea."
"I thought so. You are a bit dense when it comes to that kind of stuff."
He opened the menu in front of me and smiled. I was overjoyed to hear that he liked me. He was my high school Prince Charming.
"Since I come to this place often, can I order for us?"
Yeah, of course." Thanks to him taking the lead, the meal became really enjoyable. When we were in the middle of our dishes, he brought up the main topic,
Well, the main topic is, do you have any interest in investing?
Investing is a field that I'm not good at. Even when it comes to company finances, I'm terrible with numbers and just leave everything to our accounting guy, Nathan. To be honest, I'm pretty bad at it.
Well, how about I support you and you try investing? And by the way, would you like to have dinner together again next time?
I got swept up in his skillful lead and couldn't help but agree. Yeah, let's have dinner together again next time. And so, I became close with him and we regularly had meals together. One day, Chase spoke with an unusually serious expression.
I love you from the bottom of my heart, now and forever. That's why I want us to date with the intention of getting married.
Chase shows up at our meeting place every time with stylish clothes and a bouquet of flowers. Our relationship is like a dream come true for me. I agreed to his proposal immediately. A few days after the proposal, he said to me in a formal tone,
"Now that we're going to be a married couple, can you entrust me with managing our money? It could also be a good deal for your company, you know?"
Are you talking about investing?
With $50,000, we could double the size of your company by next year. I'm confident.
Okay, I understand. But it's a lot of money, so can you give me some time to think about it? I need to discuss with my employees and family. Feeling overwhelmed by the large sum, I decided to seek advice from people around me.
"Lana, do you trust me? It's for our future."
Chase spoke to me in a sweet voice, making I felt like a princess, and I had no reason to doubt him. The next day, he called me with a cheerful voice.
"One of my subordinates just contacted me, and the situation has changed slightly since yesterday. If we could come up with another $30,000, our future would be guaranteed."
Wait, so that's a total of $80,000? That's a lot. I need more details about the investment before I can commit to it, even if I'm not well versed in investments. Chase seemed a little annoyed by my request for more information.
"Are you saying that you don't trust me?"
No, it's not that, but
then $80,000. Investing is all about speed, you know?
Wait a minute. Of course, I trust you, but everything is happening too fast for me to keep up. Can we wait until after the meeting with both our families, the day after tomorrow, to talk about the money?
Okay, I understand. So the money will be ready by the day after tomorrow then.
Although Chase seemed a little dissatisfied, he agreed to wait for the money. He kept insisting that the investment was guaranteed to be profitable. But I started to wonder if it was really that easy to make money. Even though I loved Chase, I had doubts about giving him $80,000 for investment, especially since I wasn't familiar with investment myself. I didn't know how to make a decision about this. Whenever I'm in a situation like this, I always contact my grandmother. When I called to tell her about my engagement, she was very happy. But at the same time, she sounded a little worried and said,
"Is that person really okay? I see a lot of dark shadows around him."
Hearing my grandmother's voice made me suddenly realize that I might be doing something foolish because of Chase's sweet looks. Would a boyfriend really demand such a large sum of money out of the blue? Many questions started to rise in my head. I also mentioned to this Nathan, our accountant, who is very knowledgeable about investment, and he was surprised.
"Even if you love that person,
You should stop investing. The risk is too high. There are even scams like that." When he mentioned the word scam, I couldn't help but shudder. It was because the words dark shadow my grandmother said and the word scam were linked in my mind. From that moment on, my love turned into suspicion and anger. I decided to investigate the truth of the matter and waited for the meeting between both families. On the day of the meeting, both families gathered at a luxury hotel in a neighboring town. After introducing our families, my grandmother solemnly spoke in a way I had never seen before.
"You should stop seeing this person. The man right next to you is angry."
The atmosphere of the room became tense. My grandmother slowly pointed to Chase's shoulder and whispered. Chase was losing his words at the sight.
"What are you talking about?"
Then my grandmother continued.
"Not only the man, but also the woman next to him is angry. I can see a lot of anger. And then, someone who wants to take you down will be here soon."
Chase's face turned pale, and he began to panic, trying to stop my grandmother's words.
"Shut up! No, I mean, maybe she's just mistaken about something."
Then my grandmother turned to Chase's parents and said,
"It seems that both of you are in dire need of money. First of all, does the male person over there have a current illness? You should go to the hospital immediately."
Then Chase's father's face darkened and he said,
"Actually, since last year, I've been having stomach problems. God is watching, so go to the hospital before deceiving others."
Then my grandmother turned to the mother of Chase, who looked like she was about to burst into tears.
"I can see that you've had a difficult life. But even if you hit the rock bottom, you shouldn't resort to deceiving people like this. Deep down, you really want to be of help of others, don't you?"
Upon hearing this, the woman broke down in tears and said,
"I'll continue working as a nurse. I promise."
At the moment, Chase, who had been watching the situation, suddenly became agitated.
"What are you doing? Do your job properly. I taught you how to play my parents' role."
As I was surprised by his sudden outburst, the sound of the door opening loudly filled the room. One of my company's employees, Nathan, had entered.
"We have done some investigating on you, sir. We found it suspicious when we heard about the investment offer from Lana."
Nathan then opened a file containing the result of his investigation.
"Who are you? An outsider? What are you talking about?"
Shocked by his loud voice, hotel staff rushed in.
"Get out! All of you who have nothing to do with this! Someone remove this man from here!"
My grandmother then spoke up saying,
"See? I told you. Someone who is inconvenient for you shows up." "What did you say, you old hag?"
Witnessing his true nature, Nathan yelled,
"Lana, don't be fooled by this man. This is a scam." "What did you say? Don't say stupid things."
Still trying to defend himself, Nathan exposed Chase's wrongdoing by showing articles and copies of SNS posts he found on the internet about the fraudulent investment company. Then, my grandmother calmly mentioned the name of a certain bank.
"You are keeping the money you took by deceit in the United Bank, right? The account number is..."
My grandmother even went as far as to reveal the account number. Nathan raised the memo with the account number on it and breathed heavily.
"I'm going to the police now. Come with me. Please, please, stop that. I'll apologize for everything."
Can you explain what's going on? I asked in a menacing voice, and Chase started confessing while still bowing down on the ground.
The investment was real at first. I had confidence in my investment because I had been working for a foreign company for a long time. And I thought if I could make money, I could face my wife, who looks down on me.
What? You had a wife? I was stunned by his absurd story.
My wife has only lived a wealthy and luxurious life because her family is rich. She's extremely extravagant with money, and I've always been looked down upon by her for being concerned about money. If this investment had gone well, I wouldn't have had to worry about what she said, and everything would have worked out.
Listening to Chase's selfish confession, I calmly continued. In other words, you were planning to steal my money and ran away. Is that right? And your parents are also fake. I wondered if they had taken on the role of his parents for the job. And the two of them immediately bowed down on the spot. Disgusted, I had nothing to say to these three and left the scene. Later, his story was featured on the front page of the newspaper. It was only natural for the police to get involved since he had caused so much trouble. It seems that the police had already begun the investigation when Nathan rushed to the police station with the evidence. Days later, I thanked Nathan for warning me again. Thank you for letting me know, Nathan. I was completely deceived. I thought I met a perfect guy, but it was all a lie. As I lamented, he spoke boldly to me. Lana, let's eat something delicious when you feel like this. Let's go get some food. He's serious and awkward, but he thinks of me more than anyone else. He is my now husband. Since that day, I thought I would never have a love affair again, but it was different with Nathan. I had a vague feeling that he really cared about me. Then one day, Nathan suddenly said to me, Lana, can you introduce me to your grandmother? And if there is no problem with me, will you marry me? I was surprised by this sudden proposal, but he didn't back down and insisted on meeting my grandmother. I had been cautious about love, but if my grandmother said it was a bad idea, I would quietly back off. So I agreed to introduce him to my grandmother. And my grandmother said, Oh, he's the one. He will be your husband. What? I was taken aback. But my grandmother's words became decisive, and I decided to marry him. Now, I am happy. 3 years have passed since then, and my grandmother has turned 80. But she's still healthy, and her predictions are accurate. Our relationship as a couple is good, and our business are going well. My grandmother, who has a mysterious ability, gave me a wonderful prophecy the other day. A lovely family member will come to you. The day after my grandmother's prophecy, my husband and I rescued a lost cat. In the end, the owner was not found, and we named him Charlie, and he became a member of our family. He is a lively little boy who loves to play pranks and makes a lot of noise every day. Hey, wait! Charlie! I am chasing after Charlie with a smile on my face today. Daddy, do you know that your ex-girlfriend Joanne isn't always as elegant as she seems? My daughter asked my husband with a cold smile.
What are you talking about?
I knew you didn't know. Because she is, you know. Dad, see this? I am Martha, 45 years old. I became a nail artist 8 years ago, and now run a nail salon at home. After telling myself that success would be waiting for me beyond my patience, I finally made it this far. Beauty-related work has always been my dream. It's the best job to see customers smile with the services I provide.
I'm home.
One night, my husband Philip came home slightly tipsy, grinning all the while. My daughter Brittany and I had already finished taking a bath and were relaxing in the living room.
Hey, Philip.
What are you grinning at?
It's creepy. You see, my childhood friend, who I used to date, ran a restaurant near the station. I was surprised that the restaurant we happened to go to was her place. It seems like she opened it not too long ago. It's amazing how coincidences happen, right?
Oh, I see. I gave my husband a cold response. So that's why my husband was in a good mood, because he got to see his ex-girlfriend.
Plus, the food at the restaurant was amazing. She became a licensed cook after became a single mother. Really impressive. Unlike you, she has shiny tied back hair and looks amazing, even while cooking, you know.
I've had short, dull blonde hair this whole time, so I guess I'm no match for her in that regard. I know I don't come off as the elegant type that my husband prefers. I don't really care about becoming the kind of woman my husband likes, especially not now. My husband is still smiling to himself and lost in thought.
All right, I'm gonna take a shower.
Sure, just make sure you clean up after everyone else.
Yes, ma'am.
After that, my husband went to the bathroom humming to himself. He's so absent-minded after meeting up with his ex-girlfriend. From the next day on, my husband started messaging me like every day at a fixed time. I'm going to drink, so don't bother making dinner. He started coming home after my daughter and I had already fallen asleep. I know that the place he goes to is his ex-girlfriend's restaurant. My husband and I had been married for almost 20 years now, and we both work and have separate finances. So I didn't feel any strange jealousy about my husband using his own time to relax. I was just worried about him spending so much money, going out drinking every day. He's technically a department head, but he's just an ordinary salaryman. I was mulling over those thoughts. One day, when a reminder letter arrived, it said that our car loan hadn't been paid. My husband mainly uses the car, and I only ride in it a few times a month, like when we go to the Home Depot. Could it be that he's spending too much money on drinking and doesn't have enough to pay the loan? As I was looking at the red letter reminder, my husband messaged me as usual. Don't need dinner tonight. The letter about the car loan came. It hasn't been paid yet. I thought it would be better to let him know right away, so I sent a message back saying so. He quickly replied, I know. I couldn't help but be amazed at my husband's nonchalance. Doesn't he realize that it could hurt our credit score? Could it be that he doesn't have enough money because he's been going to his ex-girlfriend's restaurant too often? I wanted to say something like that to him, but I didn't get emotional enough to actually pursue it. But that night, my husband came home as usual after messaging me that he was at his ex-girlfriend's restaurant. Huh, aren't you supposed to go drinking today? My daughter Brittany and I were already sitting around the dining table having dinner.
The restaurant was closed today.
My husband seems pretty upset.
Oh,
I only made enough for 2 of us.
Oh, I already ate, so don't bother.
My husband left the living room expressionless. He probably went to his own room, but I heard a loud sound as he closed the door. As a result of that sound, the photo frame on display in the living room fell with a bang. My daughter and I flinched at the sound. When I picked up the fallen family photo, I noticed that the glass was cracked. A few weeks later, it was my daughter Brittany's 15th birthday today. She had been studying piano since she was 5 years old and was good at music. She played the saxophone in the wind ensemble. She was also a proud daughter with high academic performance. Although I was a bit concerned about her tendency to argue, she had grown up well. I had already told my husband that we were going to celebrate our daughter's birthday at home tonight. Even so, my husband didn't come home. I sent messages and made calls, but I couldn't reach him. It's already 8 p.m. and he still hasn't come back, so should we start without him?
Sure, that's fine.
He's probably at his girlfriend's restaurant again. I couldn't help feeling uneasy about what he was doing on our daughter's birthday.
Brittany, happy birthday!
Lit the long candles on the decoration cake with cute strawberries on top. We reserved this cake at the cake shop our daughter likes. I turned off the lights in the room and sang a happy birthday with a smile.
Thank you, Mom.
I'm really grateful that she's grown up healthy until now. I gave my daughter a birthday present that I had prepared for her.
Thank you, Mom. Wow, this is the one I wanted.
The contents were clothes from her favorite brand that my daughter wanted.
Yay! I love you, Mom.
She hugged me and said that while holding me tightly.
Hey!
When the two of us were taking pictures in various poses, my husband's voice suddenly came from behind. He seems to be quite drunk and in a bad mood.
Oh, you're back.
Dad, did you go drinking again? When my daughter asked that, my husband, whose tongue seems to be tied, replied as if he had hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, but what's the matter?
I've been telling you for a while that we are having a birthday party today. So you come straight home after work, right? When I said that, my husband gave a surprised reply.
You see, my ex-girlfriend Joanne is a single mother. So I have to contribute to the restaurant sales to help her. You know? Don't you understand? It's only natural to help a friend in need, isn't it? I have to help her, don't I?
My husband collapsed onto the floor in a drunken stupor. At the same time, all the food I had prepared for my daughter's birthday crashed into the ground with a loud bang. It seemed that the tablecloth had been pulled off when my husband fell.
He's a loser.
My daughter was appalled. My husband had ruined her birthday party. What was he thinking? Prioritizing his ex-girlfriend over his own daughter. This was the first time I had ever felt angry at my husband. Hey, Mom, what should we do with them? My daughter and I looked down at my husband on the floor. We both agreed that we would leave this sloppy man as he was. Sorry, honey. I'll buy another cake tomorrow. It's okay. The cake that you had already cut, it's still good. Mom, let's split this remaining cake in half. My daughter is such a good kid. Even though today was her special day, she was willing to share the last remaining piece of cake with me. Yeah, thank you. Shall we eat it together on the sofa? We cleaned up the mess on the floor, split the cake in half, and ate it together. My husband was still sound asleep, probably enjoying himself with his ex-girlfriend in his dreams. In the morning, my husband rushed around, trying to get ready for a meeting.
Why didn't you wake me up earlier? I have a meeting first thing in the morning.
He complained while tying his tie. I hadn't heard anything about a meeting, nor did I care.
I feel sick.
Well, of course. If you sleep on a hot flowing without covering yourself with a blanket, you'll catch a cold. In my cold stare at my husband, the word separation pops up in my mind. No, actually, wouldn't divorce be better? For the past few years, it seems like we've just been coexisting. I can receive child support until our daughter graduates from high school, and I can continue to work from home. So I think it would be better to do it sooner rather than later. I called my daughter, who was out, and casually told her about it.
Hey, can you transfer the overdue car loan payment for me tomorrow?
Why me? Can't you do it yourself online? And I'm not going to pay for it.
I'm not good at that kind of stuff, so I'm asking you.
My husband said, with an angry tone. Hey, you can't ask people like that. And it's your fault we couldn't make the payment.
Shut up. You sometimes use the car too, don't you?
It's not sometimes, it's rarely. As we both became more heated, my daughter came back home. What? Are you guys fighting? Brittany asked with a slightly exasperated expression.
Hi, honey. Sorry. We just had a difference of opinion.
When I said so, my husband continued to complain.
You really have no charm. Even Brittany is becoming like you. Always talking back.
As my husband said this, I glared at him, and so did my daughter.
My ex-girlfriend is so sweet and elegant, you know. Oh, well, I should have married her instead of you.
In that case, why don't you go and be with your ex-girlfriend now? Do whatever you want.
What? I was going to do that anyway. To me, you are nothing anymore.
Okay, sure. Whatever you say. It's the same for me. Feeling disgusted, I instantly felt a rush of blood to my head. At that moment, my daughter asked my husband with a cold smirk on her face, "Daddy, do you know that your ex-girlfriend Joanne
isn't always as elegant as she seems.
What do you mean? What do you know about her?
I guess you really don't know. Because she's, Dad, see this?
Then she showed him a video on her phone of a group of people dressed in flashy clothes singing passionately. The customers at the small live house were also bobbing their heads and moving their bodies to the music.
That ex-girlfriend of yours, she's actually the vocalist for a heavy metal band. Did you know?
As Philip stared at the video, his eyes widened gradually.
See? She's only elegant when she's in public. Don't you agree, Dad?
My husband started shaking uncontrollably. I wonder how my daughter knew that my husband's ex-girlfriend was the vocalist for this heavy metal band.
Well, you see, my piano teacher is friends with your ex-girlfriend. And a while ago, she took me to a live house where many bands performed. That's how I found out about your ex-girlfriend. Anyway, she can sing in whatever outfit she wants, right? It's not like she's causing any trouble for you, is she?
Yeah, you're right, honey. I agreed to my daughter.
Hey, Dad, I have a proposal.
My husband, still in shock, turns to my daughter.
How about leaving this house? You don't have to come back here anymore.
My daughter fiercely speaks to her father.
Hey, Mom, do you remember what I asked for when I passed the high school entrance exam? It's about the cat.
Oh, that cat? I remember. My daughter had always wanted to have a cat, but had given up on the idea because my husband was allergic to cats. Then, my daughter left the living room and returned with a carrier bag for animals. Inside the bag is a silver kitten that mews.
One of my friend's cats had a litter of American short-haired kittens. She asked me if I wanted one. I just didn't want to be separated from this kitten, so I brought it home. That's why I want you, Dad, who is allergic to cats, to leave this house.
My husband's eyes were already bloodshot, and he was making a sound as he sniffled. Hey! What are you doing, Brittany? You were doing something selfish.
But Dad, you always do selfish things, don't you? You don't value Mom as me. And you prioritize other women. Like, I don't want a dad like that. I don't want to be with you. Do you understand?
My husband and daughter were on the brink of a fight. It was my turn. I'm asking you too. Please leave. We don't need each other anymore, right? Is there any point in being together? Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to my ex-girlfriend's place then. As my husband was leaving, sniffing and crying, we said in unison,
Goodbye.
Then, at that moment, intercom rang. I checked the front door monitor and saw a man and a woman standing there. Hello? I turned on the intercom.
Is this the Philip Miller's residence?
Yes, it is. Who may I ask is visiting? As I answered, my daughter said,
Oh, It's Joanne.
Huh? You mean the ex-girlfriend? I hurried to open the front door.
Excuse me for the sudden visit. I'm Joanne. Is Philip here?
I tried to go to call my husband, but he was already at the entrance.